The Lord Nelson is a heritage-listed pub located in Millers Point alongside the historic Rocks area in central Sydney. Built in 1835, it had its liquor licence granted in 1841, and it is the oldest working licensed hotel in Sydney. In 1986, the pub was bought by a private consortium headed up by Blair Hayden. A very thorough and full restoration was undertaken to return the pub's interior and exterior to its former colonial glory. A microbrewery was incorporated into the pub, focused on creating full-flavoured ales rather than the lagers that were commonplace in the 1980s. The beer is 100% natural, unfiltered and unpasteurised, with no added sugars or preservatives. The Lord Nelson is thought to be Australia's oldest pub brewery still in operation. The pub, of course, is named after Horatio Nelson, the English naval hero who had his great victory at the Battle of Trafalgar, but was also fatally injured in that battle against Napoleon's combined French and Spanish fleets. Nelson's body was transported back to England in a barrel of brandy. There was great public outcry about this because they thought that he should have been transported in a barrel of rum. But enough talk about spirits, we're here for the beer, so let's get into it. On the day of our visit, it was rather cold, windy and rainy, so we dispensed with our usual introduction outside the venue and set sail on our beer adventure inside this cosy pub.
Okay, gentlemen, we have our tasting paddles. Dave, what have you got?
I'm starting out with the 3 sheets. Then this is the English bitter. Then I have the Old Admiral. And then the brown.
Okay, excellent. Mark, you and I have the same lineup. What have we got?
We've got the 3 sheets.
Yep.
We've got the Victory Bitter,
Yes.
English Bitter. We've got the Old Admiral. And we've got the Nelson's Blood.
Excellent.
3 sheets Australian Pale Ale.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. You can taste each individual sheet.
All right. We're here at the Lord Nelson Brew Pub at Millers Point in Sydney with Andrew, the head brewer. G'day, Andrew.
Mark?
Mate, this is the longest or oldest continually running brew pub in Australia, I think. Is that right?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So there was a particular pub brewery that did open prior to the Lord Nelson Brewery in Perth, I believe. But that's since ended. So obviously the lineage of this particular establishment has then obviously exceeded that particular time frame that they actually operated as a pub brewery. So yes, you are correct. This is the oldest continually running pub brewery in the country. Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you worked here?
That's an interesting one. I first walked through the doors about 20 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, as a stand-in brewer, so that the particular brewer on site could take a break, because it's a very niche, eclectic job being a brewer.
Yes.
You can't just get anyone just to jump in and fill the shoes, you know.
Right.
So that was about 20 years ago, and then I've also worked here as a cellarman for about 6 years. I worked behind the bar, I was a bar manager, and then as the actual brewer position itself, I've been here I think this is my 13th year.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you're not exactly new to the job.
No.
Okay. Now we're here in your brew house. I think there's some more downstairs. It's quite compact. I guess that can prove a little challenging in making your beers.
Yeah, you accidentally bump valves that you don't mean to. Yeah, I mean the space restrictions definitely do add a certain complexity to the operation, obviously. But it adds to the niche sort of follow-on effect of the way that the beer tastes when it comes across the bar, because it's obviously every brewery is different, given how unique this particular fit out is, I mean, most breweries are never split level; they're always on the same level. So, given that dynamic, it definitely does create its own signature, so to speak, in terms of the way the beers taste. There is a certain difference, and the beers that go across the bar are coming out of actual tanks like this in the cool room, so they're not actually coming out of kegs. So that adds a different dimension again, and makes obviously the experience of coming here and drinking the beer that people already know that's actually brewed on site, because obviously you can see it.
So the beer isn't transferred into kegs; it just comes straight out of the tanks.
Yeah.
Into the
It's lined up from the base of the tanks to the
bar.
bar. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that changes the whole dynamic. So the biggest thing about beer is that it's extremely volatile in terms of the flavor compound. So the less you move it, the less you sort of strangle it, so to speak, the more intact the flavor compounds are. So if you just go straight from tank, you're not secondarily moving it to kegs, which is going to damage it somewhat, not a lot.
Right.
When it's coming out of vats like this, it's actually quite more intact. So it tastes fresh. It tastes, like a little bit beyond green. So yeah, it's a much better version of what beer is. The less you move it, the less you stress it, the better it tastes. So yeah.
Okay. Now, is all your knowledge gained on the job? Have you just learned it here, or where did you learn your brew craft?
Well, no, I was taught. I was trained up by the previous brewer, but originally I was introduced to brewing by my old man.
Okay.
Yeah, Mel Robson. He started up a homebrew empire in his garage, actually, when I was only probably about the size of your shin. And then he grew that into a wholesale retail empire, and he sold all the ingredients. He sourced grain, he sourced yeast. He was the first to actually import yeast, liquid yeast, from the States, the laboratory in the States, White Labs. So I finished school. I was a failed art student, so he sort of took pity on me and brought me into the business, and then showed me all the different ingredients, all the different equipment that you as someone in society can actually go out and buy to take home to make for yourself. So that's where and then he taught me how to brew.
Okay.
And and the artist in me just went for it,
All right. I probably bought some stuff from him back in the day, I reckon.
A lot of people have, and a lot of major brewers in the country actually were just regular guys, customers of his, and then they actually went on to work for major breweries.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the Lord Nelson brews. Can you take us through the core range and the characteristics of those beers?
Yeah, sure. So we're known as an ale brewery. So we don't actually make any lagers.
Right.
So there's obviously that definite 50-50 split between those particular yeast strains. So they behave in very different ways. So we only actually brew ales. So, and in the sort of English sort of frame of mind, in terms of we do, so everything's sort of like Lord Nelson aspected.
Yeah, I get that from
Yeah.
the various names of the different beers.
That's right,
Yeah.
and this, aesthetically, this pub is obviously, you walk in and it feels like you're in England. Like it's got that particular vibe.
Yeah, it's certainly got that sort of colonial feel.
Yeah. So obviously the current operation is adhered to that, and so most of the beers are definitely on the British side of style ales. Like definitely the Victory Bitter is extremely British, quintessential, so to speak. And then we've got like lesser styles, which is sort of within the same vein, just sort of degraded, so to speak. And then, but we also do like a lot of seasonals as well. So the core of what we do is English style ales, but at the same time we do branch out into different seasonal ideas as well. So we incorporate native ingredients grown locally in Australia. We do that. That was something that we sort of. I'm going to say we sort of semi-pioneered. There was a few years ago when we did it, but no one was doing it. And that's carried on quite well. We've done a lot of different native styles.
Yeah, well, Simon and I think we tried the Kirsch, which had lemon myrtle in it. Yes, Swagman Sack, I think was called.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and that's exactly what I was just talking about. So that's quite a different. Did you find that, or was it something that you haven't really experienced?
Look, I hadn't had that combination. We've tried lots of beers that have had different things added to it, but that particular combination we haven't had, and we actually found it really, really nice.
Yeah, and like a lot of people come in and say, I didn't even know this was a thing. It's like, see, that's the beauty of beer. Like anything can be a thing.
And what's the most popular beer?
Well, obviously Three Sheets. It's obviously the flagship beer, but it's just. I think it's a perfect example about what this place is about. So like, it's balanced, subtle, sessionable. So it's not abrasive.
It's quite approachable.
Yeah, and it's always been known for that. But honestly, like I can tell you, because I'm the one making the beer and moving the volumes. Three Sheets is miles ahead every time on all the other beers. Even though there's nothing wrong with the other beers, but yeah, people just tend to sort of gravitate towards that particular beer.
Right. Well, we've had a few of your beers already, and we intend to get through the rest of the range later on in the afternoon. So thanks for talking to us, Andrew.
You're welcome, Mark.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay. We're here at the Lord Nelson Brewery Pub with Raymond and Nick. G'day, guys.
G'day. Hello.
Hello. Have you been to the Lord Nelson before?
A lot.
Many times?
Yes.
All right. Nick, you
First
as well?
time.
First time.
I'm a UK visitor.
Okay. Well, welcome to our fine country. We put on some UK weather for you today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are you drinking there, Nick?
Three Sheets.
3 Sheets. And what do you think of it?
I like it.
You like it?
I've tried several beers here, and I like this one as well as any others. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. And Raymond, you said you've been here many times. What's your favourite beer here?
This one, the 3 Sheets.
3 Sheets. I believe that's their best seller.
Well, I can understand that. It's a really good pale ale. I like all their beers. I work my way round all the others and keep coming back to 3 Sheets.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for speaking with us and enjoy the rest of your time in Australia, Nick.
Is that it?
That's it. Thanks, guys. All right, we're here at the Lord Nelson Brewery Pub with Yelena and Greg.
Hello.
Hello, how are you, Mark?
Very well, thank you. What are you drinking today, Juliana?
I am drinking a half pint of Nelson's Blood.
Nelson's Blood. And what's your opinion of that beer?
It is delightful. It's a very easy drinking. I'm not a big fan of light beer and ale, so I'm more of a stout and porter girl. And it's a very easy, pleasant, and not too filling, not too heavy. So I could easily go for 2 or 3 of those.
Well, you might do so.
I just might. The weather is quite conducive. Yes.
And Greg, what are you drinking?
I'm having 3 sheets.
3 sheets.
Yep.
And what's your opinion of that?
It's good. It's fine. It's a lighter beer, a refreshing sort of beer. So yeah.
Okay. And have you been to this pub before?
Yes, I'm afraid so. Yes, on multiple occasions.
Multiple occasions.
Yeah.
And that's my first time.
First time.
Yeah.
So what's your first impression of the place?
I love the sandstone. I love the atmosphere. I love easygoing, unpretentious look and feel of it, and it's. I feel comfortable, despite being here the first time. I feel comfortable.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Cheers. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
See you.
So we're here at the Lord Nelson with Joe and Drew.
Yes.
Drew, have you been here before?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think of the place?
I like it. I'm American and I always bring like tourists who come to visit me here. It has good history. The beers are good.
Okay. Do you have a particular favourite beer here?
I enjoy the Blood because I like dark beers and there's not very many options around Sydney. A lot of it is, a pale ale or a lager, which is pretty light on flavour for me.
Right. Okay. And Joe, are you having the same beer?
I am indeed.
Have you had some of the other beers here in the range?
I have. I will normally go to the 3 sheets in the summer, just because it's a bit lighter and it's good for summer drinking. Or I quite like the quail ale in the winter after a few of these.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for talking to us.
Brilliant.
Okay. Have a good afternoon.
Take
Cheers.
care.
Guys, it's been good to get together, the 3 of us, after a 5-month break. Simon has been to Greece and South America. I've been to Western Europe and Vietnam. And Dave, I think you went to Adelaide for a few days.
It felt longer.
All right, so we've concluded our visit here at the Lord Nelson. Dave, what did you think of the place? And what did you think of the beers?
The place was pumping. I love the feel. Great old brewery pub. Good food, good ambience, good atmosphere. The beers are a surprisingly broad range of beers. My favourites, I'm having this now, the Kolsch. Excellent. You get these overtones of lemon myrtle. Another excellent one, I'd say, the Nelson's Blood. And my other top 3 was probably the Victory Bitter, which is a British pale ale, but not a bad one. And I was surprised at how broad the offerings were.
Okay. Simon, your opinion on the venue and the beers?
The venue is really nice. It hasn't changed in decades, but it's a historic building, and they've got a sort of a nautical theme, nautical but nice. And the beers were tremendous. I particularly like this Wagman Sack. It's got lemon myrtle and saltbush in it. And it's very refreshing. And apart from that, I really liked the Nelson's Blood, which was a porter, I believe, and the 3 Sheets, which is the classic Lord Nelson beer that's been here for years. So, very, very good. How about you, Mark?
Yeah, well, the 3 Sheets is their best-selling beer. It's an Australian pale ale, and you really can't go past it. It's a great beer. But I agree with both of you. The Swagman Sack
native Kölsch, they call it, flavoured with lemon myrtle and saltbush, was surprisingly good. We're all having another one of that. And also I'll give a mention to the Nespresso American brown ale, which had a very slight coffee tone. It wasn't overdone, but it was a nice tasty brown ale. But it's been a great afternoon here. It's such a cosy pub. And until next time, folks, remember, it's always beer o'clock.
At the time of our visit, the Lord Nelson had just been sold to a corporate group that owns around 90 pubs around New South Wales. But we are informed that the new owners intend to sail a steady course, not make any changes, and keep the Lord Nelson as it is with its brewing facilities intact.
No, that's good. Very approachable.
It is very approachable, lovely.
It's not as passion fruity as I remember it.
I reckon hot summer afternoon, you could sit on that.
I'd rather drink it.
Probably better if you drink it.